What's up, guys? I'm Kai the Comic Guy, and today we're going to discuss the Viltrumite hierarchy and find out who is the strongest Viltrumite. See, Viltrumites aren't just angry supermen. They actually have an actual biological system that explains why a 2,000-year-old warrior can literally rip apart a 200-year-old soldier, just like tissue paper. Once you understand that system, the power scaling actually makes sense. Today I'm breaking down a complete 7-level Viltrumite hierarchy. We're going from cannon fodder all the way up to 2 beings who can fight on the surface of the sun. Trust me, the gap between these levels, they're not linear, they're exponential. Quick note before we dive in, just like Marvel Comics, Invincible has inconsistent power scaling, sometimes based off narrative needs. Rob Kirkman himself has admitted that the story comes first. Here's how we're ranking these powerhouses. I call it the 3-factor Viltrumite analysis. Factor 1. What's the maximum destructive capability that they've demonstrated? We're talking planetary destruction, faster than light travel, that kind of thing. No hypotheticals, only what they've actually done on panel to panel. Factor 2. Durability limit. How much punishment can this Viltrumite take? Does it actually hurt them permanently? Some Viltrumites walk off getting disemboweled, while others, well, they get one-shotted. That gap tells us everything. Factor 3. Combat dominance. The win-loss ratio against peer-level opponents. Context matters here. A sneaky attack doesn't weigh as much as a fair fight. When a ranking gets close, I'm going to use combat versatility as a tiebreaker, such as range of tactical options, fighting experiences, and also special techniques. Now, before we rank these individuals, you need to understand why some Viltrumites are much stronger than others. As promised, I'm going to break that down for you. Alright, so let's talk Viltrumite biology, because this isn't just a comic book pseudoscience. There's actually an internal logic here. It pretty much explains everything. Viltrumite physiology is built on something I call smart atoms. They are the atomic structure capable of variable energy states, and also low density manipulation. Unlike us humans, running on ATP and chemical energy, Viltrumites run and interact directly with the background universal energy fields. But here's how that works in practice. Flight, they're not just pushing against the air or using propulsion. They're subconsciously manipulating the inertia of their own atomic structures relative to the space around them. That's why a coalition of sonic weapons are so devastating. They disrupt the inner ear's equilibrium centers, which prevents the smart atoms from actually orienting themselves correctly. Durability, it's active, it's not passive. Their atoms literally lock up in high density configurations upon impact. That's how Viltrumites can fly to planetary cores without getting crushed. Their bodies react to the force by becoming denser. And here's the crazy part, smart atoms have memory. When a Viltrumite survives catastrophic damage, their atomic bonds reform with greater efficiency. It's basically a built-in adaptation mechanism. Sounds pretty similar to a certain sand race, right? The more you experience near-death events, the stronger you come back. It explains why Grayson's entire power trajectory makes sense. Every time Conquest or Battle Beast nearly killed him, his atoms were literally getting an upgrade. There is one critical factor that separates these tiers, and it's going to be age. Viltrumite aging, well, it slows down. The older they get, the slower they age. But their strength, it doesn't plateau. It simply accumulates. For example, a 2,000-year-old Viltrumite, who's had a millennia for their smart atoms to absorb background radiation and refine their efficiency, is going to be pretty peaked. The general rule is simple: older equals stronger. The exceptions, and these are the interesting ones, only occur through genetic anomalies like the royal blood, or extreme environmental factors like a hybrid adrenaline response. Lastly, one more piece of context: the Scrooge virus. The bioweapon engineered by Thetis specifically targeted the Viltrumite immune systems. It reduced the population to just 37 survivors. So everyone we're ranking today are simply the best of the best, survivors of a biological holocaust. And remember guys, smart atoms, they don't heal everything. General Craig still has a missing eye, so they're not invulnerable. Now that we understand the biology, let's go ahead and discuss the Viltrumite hierarchy. Starting from the bottom, level 1, the unstable artificial. This tier simply gets overlooked. It proves Viltrumite DNA alone isn't magic. You need stability and time. For true invincibility to develop, Thragg needed to rebuild the Empire. He bred the insectoid Thraxians. The problem? Well, quantity over quality. Thraxians have 9-month lifespans. Even with Viltrumite DNA slowing the aging, these hybrids mature violently fast. They've got super strength, and sure they can fly, but their durability, well, porous. In the final Viltrumite war, we see level 3 soldiers literally tearing these hybrids apart by the dozens, their bodies exploding on impact with high-tier Viltrumites. That lets us know that their skin lacks the smart atom density required for true invulnerability. Individually, a single Thraxan hybrid is weaker than early series Mark. What makes me confident in this ranking is there's 15 plus combat instances in the final arc of Invincible, confirming this placing. Unfortunately, these Thraxan hybrids show us what Viltrumite power looks like without proper time to develop. They're the baseline that makes everyone else look godlike. Level 2, the developing combatants. This is potential energy personified, dangerous to humans, but vulnerable to their own kind. Oliver Grayson, also known as Kid Omni-Man, represents the most successful Thraxan hybrid because he was raised with care instead of bred for war. His rapid aging means he learned to speak and fly within weeks, but that accelerated growth comes at a cost to density. Against Conquest, Oliver gets dispatched in a single blow. His arm broken, his jaw shattered. Mark received these similar attacks. At this point in the story, he was closer to a level 4 or 5 and could actually withstand the impact. Where Oliver shines is his speed. He's fast and he hits hard, but overall, he's pretty fragile compared to other purebloods, at least until he reaches full adulthood. Also within this rank are alternate dimension invincibles, a bunch of variants of Mark Grayson. Here's what's interesting, most of them are weaker than our Mark. Why? I call it the lack of struggle hypothesis. Viltrumite's strength correlates with trauma. Smart Adam's adaptation requires near-death experiences. The alternate Marks, who conquered Earth easily or joined forces with their father willingly, they never really had the beatings that our Mark endured. They fought Omni-Man until mutual destruction, never got pulverized by battle beasts, never died by fighting Conquest. Their atoms never hardened to the same degree. Glass cannons, city-level destruction, sure, but they can be killed by focused level 3 or 4 combatants. Last within this category would be early stage Mark Grayson. At the start of his career, Mark could lift roughly 400 tons. Impressive to humans, but in terms of Viltrumite strength, child's play. A further example of this is Mark breaks his own hand punching his father. This is the definition of level 2, immense potential, 0 conditioning. Level 3, the standard soldier. They represent the Viltrumite average. An average with this group of Viltrumites could mean a planetary extinction level event. Let's talk about strength benchmarks. Based on handbook entries, the standard adult Viltrumite can lift over 100,000 tons. They can fly from atmosphere to deep space in seconds. Though, here's a wild statement. Thragg states that the remaining 37 Viltrumites could tear Earth in half. That means a coordinated squad level possess enough kinetic energy output to destabilize planetary tectonics. Let's think about that for a moment. The rank and fly grunts can crack planets if they work together. Let's look at a few more examples. The Executioners, 2 unnamed soldiers assigned to execute Nolan in the prison arc, give us our clearest data for this tier. They are able to successfully restrain a weakened level 6, and that's Nolan, but they lack the finishing power. One gets decapitated by Alan, the other gets mauled by Battle Beast. More importantly, they explicitly refer to Nolan as the Great Nolan. They acknowledge their inferiority. They know that they cannot win in a one-on-one battle against a level 4 or higher. They're subservient, not just by rank, but by biological reality. Level 4, the Veteran Specialist. These are the Viltrumites that are typically named in the series. They empire specialized tools. They've survived longer and develop unique skills that give them an edge over the standard Viltrumite. First example, Lucan. On Thraxan, Nolan slices Lucan's stomach open, spilling his guts and intestines. Though kinda gross, Lucan holds his organs in place and keeps fighting. Eventually catches Nolan off guard and breaks his back. But here's the context that matters. It was a sneak attack on an exhausted opponent. In fair combat, Nolan dismantled him. Lucan can pin Mark with one finger, placing him firmly above level 2, but his lack of speed and tactical skill keeps him below high command. Next up is Thula. Thula represents skill over brute force, and though the Viltrumite who uses her hair tipped with a blade as a weapon. On Thraxa, she dominates Mark, using leverage in her blade to bypass his durability, but once Mark stops holding back, he overpowers her, and Nolan shatters her jaw with a single tackle. She's dangerous because of experience, not raw stats. Last in this tier, Vidor. Vidor, well, he's kind of a talker. Vidor, well, he talks a big game, but he winds up getting his head crushed by Nolan's hands, almost like it's a grape. His death exists specifically to calibrate the strength difference between a level 4 and a level 6. A level 6 can end a level 4 with minimal effort. Level 5, high command. Level 5, the high command, the generals, These are the warriors who directly report to the Grand Regent and engage in level 6 threats without dying immediately. General Craig, second in command of the military, and an absolute tank. That missing eye, well, it was lost to the Scrooge virus, a permanent scar that even smart Adams couldn't repair. His survival was based on his willpower and immune system fortitude. Well, in terms of combat feats, he fights supposed upgraded Alan and Alien to a standstill. At this point, Alan is stronger than Nolan. For Craig to hold his ground implies he's significantly more powerful than Luke or Thula. The next infam is Viltrumite with the Anissa, the Empire's most terrifying zealot, and possibly a speed specialist. Narrative evidence suggests that Anissa is faster than most male Viltrumites. She might even be faster than Nolan. She uses her speed to blitz opponents before they can react. In issue 110, and unfortunately guys I have to mention this even though it's horrific, Anissa assaults Mark. The scene matters more for power scaling because it shows that Mark, even after significant power-ups, is physically helpless against her. She pins him down without much effort, tanks his blows without even flinching. But she's subservient to Thragg. She fears Conquest. She knows she's not the apex tier. Level 6, the Imperial Elite, the Conquerors, the Old Guards. These three individuals define power scaling for the species, at least under normal Terry evolutionary parameters. Conquest, the Old Monster, the second oldest living Viltrumite, arguably the most durable natural-born warrior below Thragg. His fight with Mark was legendary. Conquest survives having his face caved in, his arms broken, getting essentially pulverized, and he laughs about it. It takes Mark pushing him to structural failure, breaking his own limbs on Conquest's body, to finally win. Nolan is visibly terrified of Conquest. Conquest explicitly states he's stronger than Nolan. He's the Empire's nuclear deterrent. He doesn't conquer worlds, he destroys them. Next up is Nolan Grayson, also known as Omni-Man, the heir of Argyle. Here's the twist most casual fans miss. Nolan is the son of the late Emperor Argyle. He's royalty. This lineage grants him genetic potential exceeding standard Viltrumites. His feats? He's destroyed Guardians of the Globe in seconds. The TV show extended that fight for drama. In the comics, it was instant. In the comics, he diverts a Texas-sized asteroid and also participated in destroying the planet Viltrum itself. Without much effort, he kills level 4s like Vidor and Lucan. He is the standard by which all heroes in the universe are measured. He is the Omni-Man. Last in his tier is Thaddeus, the Great Betrayer. Thaddeus killed Emperor Argyle. Reports suggest that it was a sneak attack, but the strength required to pierce the Emperor's skull was still impressive. Despite his advanced age and pacifism, he retained near peak Viltrumite levels. He participates in the destruction of Viltrum by flying through the planetary core. His durability is confirmed when Thragg has to exert significant effort simply to decapitate him. Coming in at level 7, the apex of all the singularities. These entities exist outside the standard curve. They are the anomalies of the Viltrumite species. Grand Regent Thragg. Thragg is the result of a breeding program designed to create the ultimate ruler. And guess what? It worked. His fight with Battle Beast is a definitive feat. They fight for days straight. Both get disemboweled, both suffer catastrophic injuries. Thragg comes out on top though, because his durability and stamina are absolute. No other character, except Mark Grayson at the end of the series, has demonstrated stamina on this scale. He effortlessly rips Nolan in half, decapitates Thaddeus. He treats level 6 Viltrumites the way level 6 treat level 2s. The gap is massive. In the Sun fight, Thragg fights on the surface of the Sun. While eventually fatal, his ability to survive solar temperatures for an extended period proves his smart atoms are denser than all others in Viltrumite history. And finally, we reach the Emperor Mark Grayson. This is Mark at the end of the series, the theoretical maximum of the species. Here's what makes Mark special. His human DNA allows for adrenaline production. That's a cheat code strength that pure Viltrumites can't access. Combined with the royal blood of Argyle through his father, this creates a ceiling higher than any pure breed could ever achieve. Mark kills Thragg, yes, but he had help. He had a robot suit, Eve's healing, but he delivers the physical blow that tears Thragg's throat out. By the end of the series, Mark has ruled for 500 years. Given that Viltrumites grow stronger with age and Mark was already rivaling Thragg in his 20s, a 500-year-old Mark is mathematically the strongest being in the history of the universe. He defeats Alan the Alien, who is stronger than Nolan casually, in a friendly sparring match. Mark is the ultimate anomaly. Here's what the data really tells us. He starts at level 2 and reaches level 7 in a fraction of the time it took Thragg, and Thragg had thousands of years of accumulation. plus the best genetics the breeding program could produce. This proves something that Viltrumites never wanted to admit. Purity can be a weakness. The hybrids, the human capacity for emotional rage, the adrenaline response, these are the ultimate power multipliers. So let's look at some external comparisons and classify them. Let's look at non-Viltrumites such as Battle Beast. He fought Thragg for days, and he's stronger than any level 6. He only lost because he wanted an honorable death. Next up is Alan the Alien, his final form, level 6+, physically stronger than Nolan, survived the Viltrumites' destruction, still loses though to Mark at the end of the series. The Ragnars are level 5 as a pack. Their claws pierce Viltrumite skin without much effort. The pack can threaten level 7 individually, well, manageable. Space Racer guns, well, infinite. Completely ignores the smart atom density. It is the ultimate equalizer. Alrighty guys, so we made it through the complete Viltrumite power hierarchy. Here are some key takeaways. Structure your understanding around the walls, or the challenges that each level hits. Level 2 hits a wall against Battle Beast. Level 4 hits a wall against Nolan. And level 6, well, they hit the wall against Thragg. Power gaps aren't smooth progressions, they are step functions, along with exponential leaps. Let me know if you agree with these rankings. We should be higher and we should be lower. And also, did I miss anyone? How would you rank Invincible's kids within these rankings? Drop it in the comments. If you want me to do a deep dive on a specific Viltrumite, such as Conquest full history, Thragg's breeding program, and the science behind Mark's hybrid advantage, let me know. Keep your feet on the ground and your eyes on the stars. Excelsior, my fellow nerds. Okay, out.